3 of 5 days live, and welcome to the show with myself and RJ and Mourra today. RJ, hello.
Hello, good morning. Good day, I mean.
I know it gets confusing. I mean, it's the same, but you have the same time as Annie in Canada, so you don't have this confusion. Annie, hello.
Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome.
Across the time zones. And the hosts today are Hani Mourra, RJ Redden, and myself, Steven. And you can contact us after the show because we can be found at repurpose.io, Black Belt Bots, and the Live Video Hub. And we're talking today about repurposing your content. Now, we're going to be going through a series of options that are available to everybody about repurposing, because RJ, creating content is just the first step.
It really is. And we tell, especially if you are new to live streaming and broadcasting, all of those things, people get super hung up on those numbers. Let me tell you, you don't have to get hung up on the number of people who were in the seats during the live stream, the number of views afterwards, because you can repurpose that single show and make it live on several platforms and have a lot of people access it. And that's what we're talking about today with Hani, and I'm really excited about it.
You and me both. So we go to Annie, and my question is, what is repurposing to you?
To me, repurposing is giving life to a piece of content you've already created. So giving it a second life by putting it on other platforms that people hang out on. So for example, you're doing a Facebook Live and somebody's not on Facebook at that moment, or they happen to miss the live event. And even the replay comes in the news feed, but with news feeds, there's just a lot of things coming in and out. So to give it a second life, you want to take that piece of content, put it on other channels like YouTube, put it on your blog, maybe convert it into an audio podcast, put it on channels where people normally go hang out and seek content. So the idea is not to create new content, but to reuse an existing piece of content.
I think that's a fair definition. Do you have anything to add, RJ?
I don't. I'm just so happy to listen to the creator of this software that I use religiously, by the way, because he's right. It's getting broadcasting at a certain time in a certain place. People find a really hard time trying to make that sometimes. But if you can make that content work for you forever, it's a wonderful thing. So
totally. And my take on repurposing is that video is the easiest way. Live video is the easiest way to create content, but that's not the end of the story. You can then take that content and reuse it elsewhere. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about the manual way of doing that. And then we're going to be talking to Annie about perhaps smoother way of doing it, because RJ and I both use Annie's software, repurpose.io, to repurpose our content easily. Right. Okay. So the first question, next comment is, why repurpose? Yeah. Is there a point to it? Can you just leave the video and are you wasting something?
Yeah. My thoughts are, you've already created the content. The hardest part is coming up with the content and creating it. Why why give it one stage? Whether you're doing it live or whether you're doing an audio podcast, why have it on one platform? Because the content is there. People want to listen to it. People want to consume it. Why not give them an opportunity to discover it and find it? And to me, it's like, why not? Like, why unless in the I want to say the olden days, things manually. I agree, there's some objections, but now there's a lot of tools out there, a lot of systems out there that you can put in place. Software assistance. It doesn't matter how you do it, but there's no reason why not to do it.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Right. Okay. Now the first step is downloading your video. Now, RJ, when we did it manually, that used to take forever.
It does take forever, and I will say that when I first, Steven, you were my first connection to repurpose.io. You were doing a show because you do a show every day of the week, perhaps twice sometimes. And you were talking a lot about repurpose. And I was thinking of this, and Hani's not heard this story, but I was thinking, I can download this myself. I don't need a service to do this for me. I got this. I know how to download. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but am I going to spend money for another piece of software that is really something I could do for myself? And I know a lot of small business owners think that way. But when I got onto the platform, and there's a free trial that you can do, and I did the free trial, what I wasn't planning on is that it opened my mind up to all of the possibilities. Not just, okay, I'm going to download this thing and then I'm going to go upload it to YouTube and then I'm going to tag it and do all the things and put all the, the stuff in. No, this was take the audio, turn it into a podcast, take a podcast, turn it into an audiogram. So there are so many things that you can do to take one piece of content and make it live 100 times. Having it tagged properly, having all the little keywords in there so that people can find you. It was amazing. I signed up in 5 minutes, and I've been a customer ever since. So that's I'm not being paid to say this, but I wanted to say that if you are, if you're at that point where it's like, I could download this myself. Yeah, you can. But there are so many better things that you can do for your time, and you deserve to have your world opened up just like I did. So that's what I have to say about that.
Wow, thank you for that. I didn't hear that. I never heard that story before, but I honestly appreciate it. It's so true. People, you can do everything. Like, we're not doing anything that's magic here. Like, repurpose is not meant to be this magic tool that will do everything. It's this tool that will just do it for you. You can hire a team to do it for you. You can do it yourself. You can hire a team, or you can get a software that will do it for you. And all the options are out there. So for not talking specifically about the software, just if you haven't been repurposing, you need to start at least getting your content. If you're doing lives, get them on YouTube and getting them on your blog as well. Those are kind of like the bare minimum you should be doing. If you're not, you should get a software that does it, hire someone to do it, or do it yourself, but just get it done. It's really important.
Totally, just do it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to give a quick walkthrough of what you do manually, and then Annie, if you could talk us through, and RJ and I will join in, talk us through how repurpose works. So we said you download your video, and you download it from Facebook, and you can do it from your personal page, you do it from a profile page, you can do it from a group. Video comes from wherever you want it to. Then you've got to edit the video. If you want a pre-roll and a post-roll on the video itself to repurpose it on YouTube, so you've got an introduction and an outro at the end, then you can add those by editing, and you can use editing software to that, Screencast-O-Matic or Camtasia. Both will do the same thing, but they're investments. Screencast-O-Matic, well, let's talk about Camtasia, which I know is $250. So that's what we're talking about. That's what you need. That gets your video edited, and then you want to create a podcast, an MP3, so you can play it later. So you then need a piece of software to take your video and create the MP3. And the thing about that is that the MP3 is not going to be perfect. And so you run it through a program called Audacity. And once you've got it through Audacity, you've got your MP3, you've got your video. You can then upload it to YouTube. The video goes to YouTube. The MP3 goes to SoundCloud or similar, or the podcast goes to Libsyn. Now, all of that takes time. Downloading the video, editing it, creating the MP3, uploading it, all takes time. And if you're doing 7 shows a week like RJ is, then that's a lot of time spent repurposing content. So the answer that both RJ and I like is to use repurpose.io, and who better to give us a quick walkthrough, I'll get my words right in a minute, of repurpose than Annie. So we're going to start off, because you've seen the photographs, Annie. I noticed you actually had a quick look. Yep. So we'll start with the photographs. Now, if you're watching, if if you could just go full screen for a moment, and I'll put the slide full screen. And Annie, it's over to you, because this is the front page. We'll take it from there.
All right. So, repurpose.io was designed for audio podcasts and Facebook Lives. Those are the two kind of sources that we can start from there and repurpose them out to different platforms. And in different formats as well, like from audio to video, video to audio. So if you have a podcast, high value for good value in Repurpose.io is a great value for you. If you're doing Facebook Lives, amazing value. If you're doing both, it's just a no-brainer. Honestly, it's a no-brainer if you're doing podcasts or Facebook Lives. So basically, the idea is you want to hook up what we call your connection. So you want to connect your different accounts to Repurpose, and these are one-time things. An account will be your Facebook. You kind of click a button, you say authorize Repurpose to access my Facebook to post on my behalf. So those are called connections. So you can see on the screenshot there. So you add a Facebook, if you have a podcast, you add your podcast feed or your iTunes link, and you connect your YouTube channel. Those are just the bare minimum. If you have a SoundCloud channel, others, you can connect these all up as well. One cool thing is Google Drive and Dropbox. So we try to integrate multiple platforms. We have SoundCloud, Libsyn, Binge Network, like all these different channels. But we're adding more and more and more. But if there's a channel that was not supported, you can just send the final result to your Dropbox or to your Google Drive in either video or audio format, and you can upload it to wherever else you want. So you have that kind of backup option. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your Repurpose account. So once you connect these things, so one-time process, you just authorize it, click done. You never have to be here again. Then all the fun happens is when you go to the workflow section. So a workflow is just a simple rule that says start here. Like I have an input, let's say my Facebook Live. Then I have an action. It says take that video and upload it. And then the last step is your output or your destination. And that would be, for example, YouTube. So one workflow would be take my Facebook Lives, upload the video to my YouTube. That's kind of one example. Another one could be take my Facebook Live, convert it to an audio, and send it to my SoundCloud. That's another example of a workflow. So you can make as many of these workflows as you want. And these workflows are, once you create them once, so you're not making them for every episode. Just keep that in mind. It's for every channel. So whether you want to take all your Facebook Live from page, from one of your Facebook pages to go to YouTube, that would be one workflow. If you have multiple Facebook pages, you can have one workflow for page number 1 and a workflow for page number 2. So they're not per episode, but it's per page, or if you have a podcast, it's per podcast. And it's always a one-to-one, one in and one out. So if you want the same Facebook Live to go to audio, you would make another workflow for that. So, and there's no limit on number of workflows. So once you create a workflow, you can click the view, there's like a view video or view episodes button on the right side, and it shows you all your Facebook Lives or all your podcasts or whatever that connection is, whatever that input is to your workflow. And, you got a couple options here. You can, you'll see a thumbnail based on what's in your feed or what's on your Facebook Live. And then you just can hit the publish button and off it goes. Once you hit publish, it enters the queue. Like in this, we have a big monster server that's crunching all this data constantly. And you enter the queue. We give high priority to the newer episodes. So your more recent episodes will get higher priority and get published first. And then that's it. You can just shut your computer down, walk away, go grab a coffee, do whatever you got to do, and it's just happens. So everything's happening on our servers. Nothing's happening on your computer. Nothing's being downloaded. You're not using internet bandwidth on your end. Nothing is happening on your side. Just keep that in mind. So it's not a software you download. It's eating up your internet bandwidth. It just happens automatically on our servers. And then the cool part is you can, for each workflow, you have a lot of settings. Like I'm not going to go into all the details, but basically you can. For Facebook Lives, you can, when you're publishing to YouTube, you can decide which category it belongs to. If you want it unlisted, private, public, add all your keywords right in there. So you can set that all up in advance, so you don't have to go in and do that for every episode. You can have these kind of keywords all set up. Everything's ready to go. And then The final step is, let's say you want full automation. Like what I talked about, you got to hit publish. It enters a queue, and you can wait for the episode to publish. If you go back to the previous screen, basically there's a switch for each workflow that you can turn it on to auto. So you can say, you know what, I'm happy with this. I tested it. I like it. You can turn on the auto switch, and then you never even have to log into Repurpose again. It just picks up every time you go live. It will, pick up that episode and do whatever you asked it to do automatically and publish it to YouTube, to SoundCloud, whatever the rules or workflows you created, they will happen automatically with the auto button. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's a lot of settings in there. Like you can add intros and outros, for example. Like let's say you want to add a bumper video. When you go on YouTube, you want to add a little bumper intro or a bumper outro. You can upload that to our system one time, and then it will just add it to every single video that it grabs from Facebook. You'll add the intro, outro, and fire that off to YouTube. And you can do the same with audio as well. So if you make an MP3 file, you can have an intro, outro. You can strip out your Facebook Live, add an intro, outro in audio format, and send that off to SoundCloud, Libsyn, Dropbox, or wherever you want as well. So, and we're adding more and more cool stuff. And in free trial, like people are, I'm just kind of monitoring the comments quickly as we go.
Okay.
But yeah, cost, it's we start at $12 a month if you just have it. You just have one Facebook page to one YouTube, and that's all you care about. It's $12 a month with a free trial. And you can, if you want everything, audio to video, video to audio, it's $20 a month. It's honestly, you can't pay someone that kind of money to do it for you.
Right. And I've got a question. Does it work with IGTV, which is a newcomer? Have you got any plans for that? Because it is
I would love to integrate Repurpose directly, but Instagram TV doesn't have direct API, so third party can't upload to Instagram TV, at least not yet. But we're doing a couple things. We have the Dropbox connection, so you can always send a video to Dropbox and then you can manually upload it. But one thing we're experimenting on the podcasting side, and we're going to look at it more on the Facebook Live side, is with the podcasting, when we turn on audio, because we can turn an audio into a video. All our video templates are horizontal.
Yep.
So we're adding the vertical option so that people can take their audio podcast, make a vertical video, send it to their Dropbox, and then you can upload that to Instagram TV, because that's what Instagram wants. IGTV wants vertical video. So, as our short-term way to compensate, we're going to have vertical options and square options as well for templates. But that's from audio to video. So I'm experimenting with a few ideas on how to take a horizontal video and make a long version of it, and maybe add some title and thing on top. So that's my idea, is to help people who do Facebook Lives and get them onto Instagram TV. We'll turn that vertical video, a horizontal video, into, we're not going to flip it, but we'll make it into a smaller video. Maybe I can give you the option to add a template around it. I'm always good. I'll figure something out to make it IGTV compatible.
Basically, it's a never-ending situation because people are coming up. IGTV is relatively new. There's always something new, isn't there?
Yeah. It's pretty new, about maybe a month or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got two stories, and the first concerns BeLive.tv, the second concerns Repurpose.io, and I'm sure Andy's got a Repurpose story too, because we're both users. But I'm always grateful to Annie, because on the 14th of October 2016, he was in a Facebook group, and he'd just been talking to Daniel Meyer, who's the CEO of BeLive.tv. And can you take the story from there? Because it's basically how BeLive TV came to Facebook.
I'll tell you, it's just the funniest story. It's so funny how one connection just can blow up. I was in another Facebook group, and people were always asking, how do I do video, side-by-side video on Facebook Live? So they didn't have that option before, and I don't think they have it done properly now either. But how do I do face-to-face interviews on Facebook Live? There was no option. There was no tool. And then I was in some Facebook group, on Quora or something. I was on Quora, and I was searching for that. And then somebody mentioned Daniel's name to me. They said, talk to Daniel. They're working on some tool. I'm like, okay. And then I reached out to Daniel. I had no idea what Be Live TV was or anything. We talked, we got on a video call, and he showed me this new platform. I'm like, this is cool. So we chatted over Be Live TV in our little private group, just him and I, and he was showing me all the features. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So I went into one of the Facebook groups. I think it was Joel Calm's group, the live streaming group. And I said, hey guys, I found the solution. Everyone's been asking for this. And I posted a screenshot, and then it just exploded. I had no idea. I was just sharing some awesome software that somebody had created, and that people had this problem, and this solved the problem. And then from there, apparently, it's just people went crazy over it.
Well, totally, because by the following day, there were tens of people using it. At the end of the month, there were hundreds of people using it, and thousands of people using it. It went viral. It's a piece of software that went viral, and to know how it happened is part of the history and folklore of BeLive.tv.
Yeah, I had no idea what was gonna, like, I was just like, Daniel's always like, oh my God, you won't believe what happened after you shared that in the group. And I was like, well, I was just trying to help you. You guys created the software, amazing software. People had this problem. I don't know. It's just funny how like one small connection can turn into like, Be Live is a massive platform now. It's just amazing. It's just, I'm not part of it, but I'm honored to be part of the story.
Right. Well, my story is about repurpose. And repurpose, if you know me, you know that I do at least 5 shows a week. And if I was repurposing all those shows from the Live Video Hub and from Be Live in 5, then it would take me ages. Well, it would take, if you say an hour for each one, that's 5 hours a week. And as RJ will agree, hopefully, that's 5 hours you can use better.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you cost that 20 hours a month, 20 to 30 hours a month, just repurposing video and I don't know what you charge yourself out at an hour, but if it's between $50 and $100, that is a lot of money. That's a lot of time. And if you compare that with the monthly cost of repurpose.io, then it is a no-brainer, because you get all the benefits that Annie's described. You don't have to do anything other than set up and link your accounts, say where you want to go from and to. So I go from Facebook to YouTube, from Facebook to SoundCloud, from Facebook to my Google Drive, just for safety. So I've always got a copy in the sky somewhere of every broadcast I've ever done. And it just simply works, because what I do, I'll show you an example of this later, is I actually, if we come back to here just for a moment, what I do is I just go full screen. I go back to the video on Facebook, I edit the text, and then I add at the bottom, you can just see there, a repurpose tag. And until I've added that tag, repurpose.io does nothing. So I add that tag when I'm 100% satisfied. It will take the video to YouTube. It will take that text to YouTube. It will take my tags to YouTube. I can add a pre-roll and a post-roll. Magic. And it takes a few clicks to do it. And I can just, once I'm happy with the process, then just let it run automatically. Yeah. And that's the magic behind it. So that's my little story.
I have a little story about Steven, because he's telling some good stories. This feature, like this request that Steven came up with, what he just showed you here, adding the hashtag, has saved a lot of people a lot of time, because this didn't exist before. This is all Steven's idea. He said, how do I, the main problem was people wanted to go live, but they didn't have the full description ready to go when they go live. They go live and they wanted to edit it later, but they didn't want repurpose to grab the video with no description. So they asked me, how do I delay the process without me having to go to repurpose and clicking publish? And then Steven came up with this idea with this hashtag. It'd be cool if you just put a hashtag in there and let repurpose wait till it sees the hashtag. And I'm like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. So we added that. And I know, like, almost a weekly basis, I get the same question. I say, yep, there's a feature here called don't do anything until you see it's this particular hashtag. And people love it. They're like, brilliant. How did you think of that? I'm like, I didn't think of it. Steven. Users have thought of it and told me what they want. And it makes total sense. So I love that feature, and I always think of you when somebody asks me. I'm like, oh, Steven's brilliant mind came up with that idea.
Thank you. It's one of the things, you don't want things to happen before you're ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what comes of being a programmer. Trying to, I mean, you've given us some beautiful software, and then you just want to enhance it a little, and that does the trick. So thank you for telling the story. We're telling stories here about Be Live and repurposing. And RJ, because
Yes.
you're a very happy user of Repurpose.
I'm very happy because here's the deal. I mean, I've done several like iterations of live stream shows in the past, but this one that I'm doing now, I'm so passionate about. Repurpose allows me to get my name out there with the keywords that I've chosen to focus on. I can produce one show and have it heard 100 times in different places. I use Anchor. I don't use Libsyn. I use Anchor to get everything out there. So I can have things transferred into audio. I can have audio transferred into video. I can, as a one-person business, be so much more powerful and get my voice heard in so many more places. And it's beyond what I thought it would be. I went in there thinking, I'm going to check this out because okay, everyone, my relationship with Steven is very expensive because if he buys software, then I have to check it out. So I was just in there checking it out. And in 5 minutes, I was blown away by how many options it had and how many ways you can customize how that word is getting out there. There's nothing like it, folks. Give the free trial a shot and let go of the obsession of, only this many people showed up to my live stream today. Right. It doesn't matter. If it's good content, if it's great stuff, you can reuse it on all different types of ways.
Yes. And like you got it right. Like think of it as, don't think of it as a live platform. Think of it as an easy way to create content. When you're live, people know you're live. You can make mistakes. It's fine. You stumble, you scratch your head. It's okay, right? Because you're live. But if you try to make the perfect video and record it and get everything perfect, you're never going to produce that content. But when you go live, you get to get that. I get a sense of, okay, if I make a mistake, it's okay. I'm live. But at least I got my content out. And once it's out, then you have another tool that will just get it out even further. So just think of it as a platform to create content. Even if no one shows up live or one person shows up live, it doesn't matter. It's a platform for creating content, which is the starting point of what you're doing with that content.
It is. It's the starting point of the journey because you can then take that content, and we've seen repurpose.io can do a lot of things with it. But there's another piece of software which I'll demonstrate in a moment, Annie. But if you just want to give an overview of Simple Social Press.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I mentioned, at a bare minimum, you want to take your Facebook Lives. I'm assuming a lot of people are doing Facebook Lives here. Facebook Lives onto YouTube. That's a no-brainer. YouTube's a search engine. You want to be there. But you also want to put Facebook Lives onto your blog as a blog post where you have a video and maybe an email opt-in box somewhere on your page so you can capture the email, which is kind of the whole point of having content on your blog. So Simple Social Press is a tool that actually was born before Repurpose, a couple of years before Repurpose. And the whole idea was to automatically take your Facebook Lives, make a blog post, add the video, and automatically add an email opt-in box and a few buttons that you can customize. But even the coolest part, I think, is it takes all the comments. It takes all the comments from your Facebook Lives and it puts them as comments on your WordPress. So imagine doing a Facebook Live, and then all of a sudden you have a blog post with a video and maybe 20, 30, 50, whatever, 100 comments on it. I don't know the last time I wrote a blog post that had more than 1 or 0 comments on it.
People have stopped commenting.
Yeah. So it's from a Google's perspective, they see comments, they see video, people land on your page, just longer on-page time. So, you kind of have that automatically in a blog post. But more importantly, you have the comments, but you also have an email opt-in box. So we put it right below the video, and you can basically have a chance to capture people's email addresses, and it connects with MailChimp and Infusionsoft and ConvertKit, all those. Like it's a generic opt-in box that's compatible with any email provider. So yeah, so Simple Social Press takes content, Facebook Lives to your blog automatically. Repurpose takes it across platforms like YouTube, as audios to SoundCloud, Libsyn, Dropbox, etc. So the two tools work like they're complementary. And it's funny because my focus was on WordPress the past 3.5 years, building WordPress plugins that pull content to your blog. And then someone told me one day, like, what about moving content across platforms? And I thought, oh, maybe I should make that software. And then how's how kind of Repurpose was born. It's like, I'm already pulling content to your blog. Why don't I help people get content across their platforms? And then the Repurpose it's only like a year and a half old. Like Repurpose has been around for about a year and a half, but these plugins have been around for 2 to 3 years now. So.
Well, the thing about it, it's just been said, which I do echo, and that is that a software house that actually listens to customers is golden, and certainly Repurpose and Simple Social Press both do. So Annie, thank you for joining us. Are you real? You have another engagement at the moment, so
yeah, I got another. I just want to recap one thing though.
Okay, we're good. I'm not asking you to leave. You stay as long as you want.
I do have another appointment right after this, but I did want to mention one thing that I'm not sure if I was very clear about. If you're doing Facebook Lives and you're thinking of starting a podcast, or have plans to start a podcast, then we have like Repurpose was built to help in that aspect as well. So we can take a Facebook Live, automatically strip the audio, automatically add an intro, outro, and we can send it to more like probably one of the most popular podcasting platforms called Libsyn. And we've added a direct integration with Libsyn. So you can publish an episode to Libsyn, which means it will basically show up on your iTunes. Basically be live. It'll be a live podcast, put it that way. So you do need a Libsyn account, and actually, if you use a discount code Repurpose when you sign up, you get a month free, so you can check it out for free. If you are curious about podcasting, I recommend Libsyn for now. It's like, well, it's been around for the longest. They have amazing stats, amazing service. It's a great product, right? Spreaker is good, Blueberry is good. They're all good. We're gonna add more support for those platforms, but we've added Libsyn first, because in my opinion, it's probably not the best, but the biggest and the most widely used. They're all great, mind you. So I don't work for Libsyn or anything like that, but they're all great platforms. But if you're curious about podcasting, sign up for a Libsyn account, use the discount Repurpose, which will get you a month. You get the rest of this month and the next month, actually. So almost basically 2 months free. And you can basically take your Facebook Lives and send them right to your Libsyn. You'll have a podcast and experiment with it, see what kind of traction you get. And you probably don't want to do every single episode, but you can selectively choose a few of your Facebook Lives and send them as podcast episodes. So take advantage of that. So get them on YouTube, get them on your blog, and if you're brave enough, or if you want to be different, get them as podcast episodes as well. Those are kind of the 3 places you want to get your Facebook Lives repurposed.
Brilliant. And it's all straightforward. It is, isn't it, RJ? Being totally honest about this.
Yeah, it is straightforward. The customer service is helpful as well. I've had the chance to ask them a few questions, and it is. I mean, when I choose to invest my money in software, it's got to be good software. It's got to support me and what my vision is and what I want to do. This allows you to be creative with getting your stuff out there. I just love the option to strip audio and put it to a podcast, because how many of us are like, I could start a podcast with this same content, but it's going to take so much time. And then I got to have stuff for iTunes and all of this, and what a headache. Take the headache out of it. Take the headache out of it. If you want to start something like that with content that you already have, you can start today. Put me in touch with the man. All right. Kim Boltzma. You know what? You could just type FDL in the bot, and you can examine Ani's information and get in touch with him right away.
Right. Okay. Now, good point, RJ. RJ has designed a bot which we're using today. And if you type FDL in the comments, you'll find details of all the co-hosts, and you just scroll through them. You'll find myself, RJ, and Annie as co-hosts. You'll find contact details, Everything you need, just type FDL in the comments now. Now, because this is our halfway show, there is a celebration going on. And if you type FDL and you check out somebody who's got Udemy courses, you'll find a link. And today, my complete BeLive TV 2018 course is free. So just type FDL and you get a free copy of the complete course. It's not the beginner's course. This is the advanced course on using BeLive.tv. It's free for everybody who joins in and types FDL today. And this is on this show and the next show. And I just want you to enjoy using BeLive.tv. Now, Annie mentioned a moment ago, Simple Social Press. Now, I took the route, I went and did repurpose.io first. And I said, I'm so impressed by this that I'm going to, because you've got the banner ad at the top, which says 25% off Simple Social Press. And it enticed me. And I thought, I'll buy this WordPress plugin and see what it works. And if it's anywhere near as good as repurpose.io, I'll buy it. It took me 30 minutes to decide. And this is why. And I'm going to go full screen for a moment and give you my version. Then, Annie, if you can do a recap. Simple Social Press, as Annie said earlier, takes your Facebook Live and it takes it across to your WordPress blog. And this is how it does it. You install the plugin, step one. There's a description of what it does, which we'll come back to. Then, when you do a Facebook Live, this is yesterday's show, and I didn't do anything. I did not do a single thing. And this live video of yesterday's show went from Facebook Live straight to my WordPress blog. It took along with it the video. It took along with it, as Annie said earlier, the comments, and we had some wonderful comments on the show yesterday. All you need to do is just install the plugin, a few settings, and then your live video is on your WordPress blog without you doing anything at all. And that's magical, and it works time after time after time. Annie always says, set it and forget it. This is truly it, because you can just install a plugin and go. So Annie, kudos to you and the team, and your take on Simple Social Press.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. It's, you connect your YouTube, you install the plugin, you kind of authorize it to access your Facebook videos, so it knows when you publish a new video, and then it's constantly checking whenever you do a live. It grabs it, makes the blog post, and puts it all there. If you want, you can have it go as a draft. So let's say you want a draft post. You don't want to publish blog posts. You want to add more content to it. You can do that as well. You can have it be draft posts waiting for you. So you or your team can go in, tweak it a little bit and publish it, or even schedule it if you want to schedule for a later date. So automation is great, but I've learned in the past couple of years that people like flexibility. Some people love set it, forget it. I don't want to touch it. Just let it happen. Some people want, hey, you know what? I want it to be a draft so I can tweak it, or I want to be able to publish things manually. So all our tools are built from like full automation to like 0 clicks. Once you set it up, 0 clicks to basically 2 or 3 clicks to get the job done, depending on your level of comfort. So you have that level of flexibility. And I get a lot of feedback saying, I'm always afraid of automation tools, but when I use Repurpose, for example, I love it because I have control. Like I feel like it's automated, but I still have control of when things go out. And so keep that in mind. It's not, you don't have to be scared of automation. It's not going to take over and do crazy things. You have control. You can let it go full auto, or you can control when, or you can just publish one episode at a time. Just click one button, it'll publish one. And tomorrow you come in and publish the other one. So you have all the level of control that you want.
And comment from Erin, it's brilliant.
Yeah, there's a question about pages and groups. With the Simple Social Press, if your group is public, then it'll be fine. You can publish it. If your group is private, Facebook doesn't allow you to embed private videos publicly, which kind of makes sense. So it only works with public groups. and pages. But saying that, I don't know, you probably all have heard over the past few months, there's Facebook groups have been turned on and off several times with our software. Facebook is going through more reapproval software. So I got an email yesterday that we're in kind of the final stage of approval. So as of today, groups are temporarily disabled, or not working, I should say, on both Repurpose and Simple Social Press. But I'm hoping in the next couple of days. I got an email yesterday saying just, sign the contract and authorize. So we're probably in a few days away from having the groups back on again. And we're good.
I mean, Facebook are making all sorts of improvements, and it's an inconvenience, but in the long run, it will work out for everybody.
Crazy. Because one day it works, and the next day it doesn't, and they change something, and I'm like, what happened? It was working yesterday. And then I get a ton of emails saying, why doesn't this work? I'm like, it's not me, it's Facebook. But anyways, we're back to kind of a little more stable ground, and things are running smoothly. But pages always work, never a problem with any pages, whether it's Repurpose or Simple Social Press.
Right. A question from Clara. Do you need to have the paid version of WordPress to use?
That's a great question. So WordPress, there's kind of two ways you can install WordPress itself. You can do WordPress.com and buy a site, and get a free, I think it's free, WordPress.com site. Or you can, like a lot of hosts let you install WordPress directly, like DreamHost and HostGator, and those, they have an installation for WordPress. That's called like a self-hosted install. So if you have one that's self-hosted, you don't need to pay anything. You got to buy the plugin, but you don't need to pay for any WordPress. If you're on WordPress.com, they don't let you install third-party plugins unless you have the business plan. And I met the guys at the podcasting conference a few weeks ago. Actually, kind of became friends after a while. We have a podcasting plugin as well, and they said, they asked me for a license. They verified it on WordPress.com. So the plugin works fine on WordPress.com, but you need to be on the business plan for it to work properly. So that's a great question.
Okay, and we come back to another question. And I know of Joomla, but you probably, both of you know more. What about Joomla?
Unfortunately not. So all the plugins are designed for WordPress. I mean, we picked WordPress as probably the biggest platform for content creators. So to rebuild this tool from scratch, we had to rebuild it again for Joomla, but we don't have any plans for that, to be honest. We don't have a lot of users who use Joomla. So yeah, WordPress is, for the plugins, it's WordPress. If you're using Repurpose for sending content across platforms, it doesn't matter. You don't even need a website, because we don't, Repurpose doesn't need you to have a website, but our plugins obviously do, and they need to be WordPress.
And Barb Island is giving some information which might be of help, and she is hosting for $10 a month.
Okay.
So self-hosting with a
maybe WordPress.com, maybe. I think you have to have the business plan. As far as I know, they mentioned that there's something new they released maybe about a year ago, the business plan. So if you're not sure, you can just send them an email to double check if you're allowed to install third-party plugins or not. But I'm pretty sure with the business plan, you can install whatever plugin you want.
Right. Right, take a breather for a moment. Okay, if you type FDL in the comments, if you just joined us, you can get not only details of the host, and this is a plugin. This is not a plugin. Sorry, RJ. This is a messenger bot designed and created by RJ, which will give you my details and RJ's details and Annie's details, and not only will it tell you about us, it will give you links that we've provided, and in my case, it will give you a link to Complete BeLive 2018 course, normally $75. Today, the price is free. So all you need to do is click the link on my profile. And a comment from Joe. Oh, right. Okay. So Joe has the scoot, but he's saying thank you. And Joe, just thank you for joining us. And we appreciate everybody who's joined us today, because we've had a fantastic show and a fantastic week. And are you looking forward to tomorrow as well, RJ? Because you're on again tomorrow, aren't you? Let's just go with this and do advertising.
There you go. Yeah, we are on tomorrow with show promotion, and that is going to be a great show. I'm real excited to be on with David and Brigetti, because they are fountains of knowledge in themselves. I also wanted to say, we were talking about the WordPress plugin just now. I don't personally have WordPress. So what I do is I just take the video and embed it on my blog, but I use a service that further promotes the post for an entire year. It's called Missing Letter. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. Missing Letter, and it's missing the final E. So, but I'll put the comment. I'll put the link in the comments a little bit later on. But it's a service that allows me to take that blog post and it will make Facebook posts for me, Twitter, LinkedIn, and it will do it for like 9 times in an entire year. It kind of randomizes the day. So every time I put a blog post, every time I do a live stream, it ends up as a YouTube video, audio podcast, an audiogram, 9 posts, and the repurposing. It's the key. It's the key. You're going to meet people later on that are interested in what you're saying right now. The only way to make that possible is A, do it yourself, which we've talked about. That's a pain in a sensitive area. B, this repurpose.io is it's an incredible tool, and Missing Letter is really wonderful as well. There's probably others out there, but I'm using those, and it has made a big effect on the kind of business that I do and the number of people that I have around me. And I can't say enough about it. Well, I better be able to say enough about it. We're ending the show, but yes, I can't say enough about these services. And especially if you're new at this, and especially if you are the only one in your business and you're wearing 78 hats, it's time to invest. It might be time to invest in some really good stuff that is incredibly reliable. And that's that's another issue with software sometimes, is that stuff changes, and what Ani was talking about just minutes ago. But Repurpose has been there every time I've needed them, and boy, this is an incredible topic. I'm so glad you came and talked to us today, Ani. I know that you are a busy man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it. And like you said, I honestly, we've been around for a year and a half, but it's something this platform is going to grow and add transcription services. We're going to connect a whole lot more. I'm so excited about this. This is, to me, it's just the beginning. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of software out there may be free, but I'm always now wary, now that I've created software and we had to host your own servers and everything, have your support team and development. You can't have, unless you're a big funded company, having free software is dangerous, because they're usually don't last very long. So that's why I decided, let's make it a paid service. We'll start very low price, like $12 a month, but at least we're getting some money in to fund the developers and fund the servers and keep growing. Otherwise, it's hard to grow when you don't have money coming in. So always be wary of free software. Be cautious, unless it's a big company that's funding a software. Be careful with what tools you invest in. So yeah, we're going to integrate transcription. We won't do it. We'll connect you with transcription services and audio snippets we're working on as well. There's a lot of cool stuff. So Twitter integrations, and anyway, I can go on, but there's a lot of cool stuff happening, and I'm excited what the future holds.
I'd love to see the roadmap, but I'm not pushing you for that.
I'm terrible with dates. That's why I have this huge Trello board that has audio, all these integrations that just I'm honestly working on growing the team now. We're getting to the point where we need more hands in there to get things done faster. So things are going really well. We're happy with it, and can't wait to see it grow and add more integrations.
You just said the magic word, and the magic word is Trello. Where would it be without Trello?
Yes, I love that tool.
And did you mention, or did I mention, or did you forget to mention the price of Simple Social Press? Because it's a one.
Oh yeah, it's for one license, it's $67. We call it an optional renewal. It works forever, but if you want to keep getting the updates, it's renews every year at 25% discount. So I look at it as $67 for 1 year, and if you're happy with it, you don't have to pay again. If you want to keep getting the updates, it's $50. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Well, again, just to come back to the way that I'm using it at the moment, with more than 5 shows a week, is that all the blog posts are created automatically. And I've still got the control, as Annie said, because I can send it over by tag. But it means that after this show, just to tell you how quick this is, as soon as this show finishes, within the next hour, there will be a blog post on my WordPress account containing the replay of this video, all the text that I've put in at the beginning, and all the comments. Now, as far as the comments go, thank you for everybody who's made comments today, because we're currently standing at 96. Wow. So if you have 4 questions, you'll tip us over the magic 100. You've got to try. You've got to try. You've got to try. I mean, and Jean is saying we're all different hats, and Aaron posted the link, and I'm just coming up right now. We've got to guess who this is. I love repurpose.io, a fantastic tool. Now, I'm on camera now, so it can't be me. Yeah. It could be David Burrows. It could be April, or it could be Brigetti. Who is it? Who is it? Who's using Repurpose.io?
Nice.
All right. 2. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. And a question from Rachel. If you type in, you've got to type in help, RJ.
FDL.
Right. Type in FDL, and basically you'll be asked what you want to do. And if you type in FDL, you'll then see an option, a menu option, 3 menu options, a second of which is co-host. If you select the co-host option, you'll see a carousel with all 8 of our co-hosts on that carousel. Go along there until you get to me, which means you'll see Annie's details and RJ's details and then mine. And underneath my profile and picture is a link which takes you straight to Udemy. So you've got FDL, co-host, find me, click the link, 4 steps, and you've got a $75 course for free today.
Nice.
And I just want to catch up on the comments. And John Spratt is claiming comment 1000, but to get there, he was helped by Gina Marie and by Barbara. In fact, Gina was trying to get to the thousands. I would love a count back, Gina, between yourself and John. We'll see who actually got the closest. Okay, and Gospel's saying thank you. Well, Annie, I just got to say, well, RJ, over to you.
Oh, well, I thank you for coming on, Ani, and talking about something that, you know, here's the deal. I love sitting next to virtually sitting next to people who take a problem that small business owners have, and live streamers in particular, to see a problem and go, you know what, I can make this easy for people, and then go on to produce a great product. That it's inspiring. And I do want to be just like you when I grow up. It's not happening though. I'm never, my maturity level stayed right where it's at, but I want to thank you for coming on the show and providing that solution for us. And then, you know, helping us explain, how can live streamers use this? How can people who are doing 1-2 shows a week, 5 shows a week, whatever you're doing, how can people use this to their advantage to get their message out there and be the signal through the noise? And both your products, they're really fabulous. And thank you for taking the time to come on and explain to us what we can do with them, because I think the world, I think the sky's the limit on this one. I hear about what you have coming up, and there was some salivation going on. I will say that because I want it bad. I want that transcription bad. So yeah, again, thank you for being here, and love your product. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here, and it's been a lot of fun. I can talk all day about repurposing, and it's a passion, right? So I love it. So I appreciate the opportunity, and it's, you know, great to talk to like-minded people about one of my favorite subjects. So thanks.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And it's been a masterclass today. Thank you. I echo every one of RJ's comments. And to everybody who's joined us today, and Brent's typing FDL, and that's good. We're getting, yesterday, RJ, we got so many FDLs, it's not true. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really working. I mean, what we're going to do, RJ and I are back at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be talking about how FDL works. In other words, what's happening behind the scenes when you type FDL for you to get our 3 profiles, for you to get a special offer. And it's just so, well, RJ is going to blush in a moment, but it's just so beautifully designed. A bit like Repurpose.io, really. Beautifully designed software that simply works well. And we'll be talking at 12 p.m. Eastern, RJ and I, because I've been told to come back on. RJ said that we should get together and have an after show, and we know that Jason Franco has been shouting for one. So we will be back at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be talking about FDL and how it works. And just to catch up on the comments, all right. And Aaron is saying, "Be the signal through the noise," and thank you. You're most welcome, Aaron. And there you are. Kudos to RJ. And Barbara's saying, your 5-day bot worked so cool. Brilliant. So from Wiltshire in England and from
Omaha down here, Omaha, Nebraska.
and from
in Toronto, Canada.
We've joined 3 countries today. We've enjoyed talking to you. We look forward to seeing you. Don't forget that RJ is here tomorrow talking about show promotion with David Burrows and Brigitte Limbanda. This has been 5 Days Live, and you're awesome. Have a great day, and we'll all see you again soon. Bye. And in a